Thakura Doyara Sagara Idase Karuna Kori. O he Vaishnava Thakura Doyara Sagara Idase Karuna Kori. Diya pada chaya shadahe amai tomara charana dhori. Diya pada chaya shadahe amai tomara charana dhori. Diya pada chaya Shadohe amai tomara charana dori.
Don't do too much drama.
Chai bega domi, chai dosha shodhi, chai guna deho dase. Chai bega domi, chai dosha shodhi, chai guna deho dase. Chai satsange deho he amar, bose chi sangera ashe. Chai satsanga deho he amar, bose chi sangera ashe. Chai satsanga deho he amare bose Ekaki amar nahi pae bal harinama sankirtane. Ekaki amar nahi pae bal harinama sankirtane. Ekaki amar nahi pae bal harinama sankirtane. Tumi kripa kori shraddha bindu diya deho Krishna nama dhane. Tumi kripa kori shraddha bindu diya deho Krishna nama dhane. Tumi kripa kori shraddha bindu diya deho Krishna nama dhane. Krishna se tomar, Krishna dite paro, tomar shakati ashe. Krishna se tomar, Krishna dite paro, tomar shakati ashe. Krishna se tomar, Krishna dite paro, tomar shakati ashe. Ami tu kangal, Krishna Krishna boli, dahitava pache pache. Ami tu kangal, Krishna Krishna boli, dahitava pache pache. Krishna se toma, sorry. আমি তো কাঙ্গাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি ধাই তাবা পাছে পাছে
আমি তো কাঙ্গাল কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ বলি
ও হে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুরা দয়ার সাগরা এ দাসে করুণা করি ও হে বৈষ্ণব ঠাকুরা দয়ার সাগরা এ দাসে করুণা করি
Don't sing Jai Prabhupada.
No, I won't.
Jai Vaishnava Thakur.
I won't sing anything. এ দাসে করুণা করি এ দাসে করুণা করি Holiness Bhakti Vikasa Maharaj ki jai.
Pretty simple to sing though. You want to feel all more out with that?
I help you.
That's how it is. Clearly. Anyways, I can sing it. Okay. So now, the next song we'll be singing is called Ebaro Karuna Karo. Vaishnava Gosai. It's been written by Srila Narottam Das Thakur in Vaishnava Vignapti. Translation: O Vaishnava Goswami, please be merciful to me now. There is no one except you who can purify the fallen souls. Where does anyone find such a merciful personality by whose mere audience all sins go far away? After bathing in the waters of the sacred Ganges many times, one becomes purified. But just by the sight of you, the fallen souls are purified. This is your great power. The holy name delivers one who has committed an offense to Lord Hari. But if one commits an offense to you, there is no means of deliverance. Your heart is always the resting place of Lord Govinda. Lord Govinda says, the Vaishnavas are in my heart. I desire the dust of your holy feet in every birth I may take. Please consider Narottam yours and be kind upon him. Ebaro karuna koro Vaishnava Goshai. Ebaro karuna koro Vaishnava Goshai. Patita pavana toma bhine ke honai. 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 Jara nikate gele Papa dure jai. Jara nikate gele পাপ দূরে যায়। এমন দয়াল প্রভু কে ভা কথা পায়। এমন দয়াল প্রভু কে বা কথা পায়। গঙ্গার পরশ হইলে পাশ্চাতে পাবন। গঙ্গার পরশ হইলে পাশ্চাতে পাবন। দর্শনে পবিত্র করো এই তোমার গুণ। দর্শনে পবিত্র করো এই তোমার গুণ। হরিস্থানে অপরাধে তারে হরি নাম। হরিস্থানে অপরাধে তারে হরি নাম। তোমার স্থানে অপরাধে নাহি পরিত্রাণ। তোমার স্থানে অপরাধে নাহি পরিত্রাণ। তোমার হৃদয়ে সদা গোবিন্দ বিশ্রাম। তোমার হৃদয়ে সদা গোবিন্দ বিশ্রাম। গোবিন্দ কহে না মোরা বৈষ্ণব পরাণ। গোবিন্দ কহে না মোর বৈষ্ণব পরাণ। প্রতি জন্মে করি আশা চরণের ধূলি। প্রতি জন্মে করি আশা চরণের ধূলি। প্রতি জন্মে করি আশা চরণের ধূলি। নরোত্তম করো দয়া আপনার ভোলি। Narottama kora doi apanara boli. এবার করুণা করো বৈষ্ণব গোসাই হে এবার করুণা করো বৈষ্ণব গোসাই পতিত পাবন তোমা বিনে কেহ নাই পতিত পাবন তোমার বিনে কেহ নাই Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur. Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur.
Gurudev Kripa. He knows. Bogus singing. You know this one? Vikasa of the Bhakti. Probably put KK song. You have to put KK song. The push that. Okay.
So this is Gurudev Kripa Bindudiya from Bhajan and Alasa, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, in his book Saranagati.
Gurudev, O spiritual master, give to this servant just one drop of mercy. I am lower than a blade of grass. Give me all help. Give me strength. Let me be as you are, without desires or aspirations. I offer you all respects, for thus I may have the energy to know you correctly. Then by chanting the holy name in great ecstasy, all my offenses will cease. When will such mercy fall to this one who is weak and devoid of intelligence? Allow me to be with you. If you examine me, you will find no qualities. Your mercy is all that I am made of. If you are not merciful unto me, I can only weep, and I will not be able to maintain my life. Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Koroe Dase Tena Pekati Hina Gurudev Kripa Bindu Diya Koroe Dase Trena Pekha Atihina Sakala Sahane Baladiya Koro Nijamane Spriyahin Sakala sahane boladiya koro nijamane sprihahina. Sakale samana korita shakati dehonata jata jata. Sakale samana korite shakati dehonata jata jata. Sabito gaibo harinama sukhe aparadha hovi hata. Sabito gaibo harinama sukhe aparadha hovi hata. Kabe no kripa lobhiyae janna kritata hoy benata. Kabe no kripa lobhiyae janna kritata hoy benata. Shakti buddhin namiyati din koromore atma sata. Shakti buddhin amiyati din koromore atma sata. Jagata vichare kichu nahi paaye tomara karuna shara. Jagata vichare kichu nahi paaye tomara karuna shara. Kunana hoile kandiya kandiya pranana rakhibo a. Karuna na hoilo kandiya kandiya pranana rakhibo a. Guru de kripa bindu diya ohe dase trena pekati hina. Guru de kripa bindu diya koro e dase trena pekati hina. Diya Trena peka atina. His Holiness Vikasa Swami ki jai.
usually known as the song number 7 in Dainya. It appears in Bhakti Thakur's book named Sharanagati.
O Lord, such a wicked mind has brought me into this world, but one of your pure and elevated devotees has come to bring me out of it. He saw me so fallen and wretched, took pity, and came to me saying, O humbled soul, please listen to this good tiding, for it will gladden your heart. Sri Krishna Chaitanya has appeared in the land of Navadvip to deliver you. He has safely conducted many miserable souls such as you across the sea of worldly existence. To fulfill the promise of the Vedas, the son of a Brahmana, bearing the name Mahaprabhu of golden complexion, has descended with his brother, the Avadhuta Nityananda. Together they have overwhelmed all of Nadia with divine ecstasy. Sri Chaitanya, who is Krishna himself, the son of Nanda, has saved the world by freely distributing his own holy name. Go also and receive your deliverance. O Lord, hearing these words, Bhakti Vinod has come weeping to the soles of your lotus feet and tells the story of his life. Emana durmati sangsara bhitore poriyaya chinuyami. Emana durmati sangsara bhitore poriyaya chinuyami. Tava nija jana kona mahajane, tava nija jana kona mahajane, tava nija jana kona mahajane. Bhattaiya dile tumi, Bhattaiya dile tumi, Doya kori more patita dekhiya, kohilo amare giya. Doya kori more patita dekhiya, kohilo amare giya. O he dinajan, shuno bhalo katha. O he dinajan, shuno bhalo. O he dinajan, shuno bhalo katha. Ulasita habehiya, Ulasita habehiya. Tomare tarite Shri Krishna Chaitanya Navadvipe avatar. Tomare tarite Shri Krishna Chaitanya Navadvipe avatar. Tomahe na koto dinahi na jane, koto dinahi na jane. Tomahe no koto dinahi na jane. Korile na bhava para, Korile na bhava para. वेदेर प्रतिज्ञा रखी भारत रे रुक्म वर्ण विप्रसूता वेदेर प्रतिज्ञा रखी भारत रे रुक्म वर्ण विप्रसूता महाप्रभु नमे नदिया माथा महाप्रभु नमे नदिया माथा संगे भाई अवधूता संगे भाई अवधूता नंद सुत जिनी चैतन्य गोसाई निज नाम कोरी दाना नंद सुत जिनी चैतन्य गोसाई निज नाम कोरी दान तरिलो जगा तुमी ओ जाइया तरिलो जगा तुमी ओ जाइया लोहो निज परित्राण लोहो निज परित्राण से कथा सुनिया आशिया चिना तुम्हार चरण थाले से कथा सुनिया आशिया चिनाथ तुम्हार चरण थाले भक्ति विनोद कादिया कादिया भक्ति विनोद कादिया कादिया अपन काहिनी बोले अपन काहिनी बोले भक्ति विनोद कादिया कादिया विनोद कादिया का भक्ति विनोद कादिया कादिया अपन काहिनी बोले अपन काहिनी बोले प्रभु हे 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 प्रभु हे
Hare Krishna. His Holiness Bhakti Vikasa Maharaj ki jai. Srila Vyasa Puja Maha Mahotsav ki jai. Okay, so we can begin glorifications now, and we're going to call devotees in the order of seniority, those who are willing to, and of course those who have written offerings, I'm going to definitely give them a chance to read their offering, and others will be calling them on the order of seniority, and yeah, so like that. So I request that regard, Kamalini Mataji, you can please come forward. And and say some things. I don't see Apura Prabhu here, so I'm calling you first. Hare Krishna. Would you like a chair? No. Just give it.
Jai. Well, I offer my respectful obeisances to His Holiness Bhakti Vikasa Swami. And one thing that I appreciate more than anything is Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava. I got that when I was in Vrindavan in 2009, and I was so taken by it. I just was amazed. First of all, many of the words I could not even find in the English dictionary. I bought a special dictionary, that electronic, because his vocabulary. But I was just amazed how anyone could write such a book. And first of all, it gave me such a understanding of our whole Vaishnav lineage, and the Gaudiya Vaishnavism, and what Srila Bhakti Siddhanta did to establish Krishna consciousness and all of the hardships he went through. But I don't know how many of you have read it. Have anybody here read Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava? So you two read it. You read the whole thing? You're kidding. All 3 volumes. It's a lot to read. But the thing is that, he tells a little bit of the history, how so it came out, in 2009 or so, and how he had spent, 20 years writing it. But before that, he had started to write it, but then stopped because he went preaching, in what was it, next to India? Yeah, Bangladesh. And kind of put it on hold for 10 years. And a lot of it is interviews. He interviewed Srila Bhakti Siddhanta's disciples, Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers. But by then, 10 years later, almost all of them had left their bodies, as they were already, quite elderly. And then there was one that he had joined Srila Bhakti Siddhanta when he was very young. So he was still around. diligent. And so far I've distributed at least 125 sets of them. Mostly the first year when it came out, then about 80, and then since then. So you're all very fortunate to be his disciples, or even his Shiksha disciples, and to be associated with all of these wonderful devotees. We're all so fortunate to be associated with each other, I guess. So thank you very much, and I haven't had much association with Srila Bhakti Vikas Swami, just the first Shravana Kirtana camp. I attended in, was it Seattle? Before that. And then there was one in Dallas, and then Charlotte, and now here. So that's 4 of them. That was the extent of my association. But yeah. So he's, as you know, extremely conservative, and that in itself is a fraction, right? Because nowadays in ISKCON, like if you go to the kirtan festivals and all, they're very liberal, and many of the kirtan leaders and stuff like that. But to have the association of such a stalwart conservative, as was mentioned today, right? Speaking strongly in Srila Prabhupada's service, is that the name? Yeah, and I remember when I read that book about 12 years ago, I was like, wow, I guess I should really be like that too, because we tend to try to be too gentle, and then people don't get the essence and don't get the jolt to wake up. Like Mahotsaha Prabhu telling, the truck driver, like, what do you want to just watch that idiot box for? And, just kind of like really waking people up. So that's Bhakti Vikas Swami's mission too. So you're all woken up. So it's very wonderful to have your association as well. So thank you. Okay. Jai. So Vishnu Chitta Prabhu, right, is the next. What?
Hare Krishna. So, Bhagavati Mataji, request you to please speak a few words. Yeah. Huh? You want to see him?
I'm going to read the offering that I wrote. It's a short offering. I just have to find it on my telephone. My dear beloved spiritual master, I see parallels in the life of Srila Prabhupada and your own. Srila Prabhupada struggled for a long time without help. And not only that, he was hampered and held back, sometimes deliberately, by what might be seen as his godbrother's envious behavior. He was considered by some, by many, to be foolishly trying to achieve the impossible. But by virtue of his unshakable faith in his Guru Maharaj, he continued working no matter what obstacles beset him. He was finally successful and achieved unprecedented success, becoming without doubt the most glorious and worthy disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. Guru Maharaj, you're speaking out against the lack of due process in GBC dealings. You're standing up for the need to actually follow the directives of Srila Prabhupada in all areas. Your mission to establish traditional gurukuls, farm communities, and traditional gender roles has been minimized, opposed, ridiculed, and labeled deviant. You yourself have suffered character assassination simply for being a dynamic, honest, and genuine devotee of the Lord. Your senior men are disallowed sannyas by a deliberate policy of politicking against you. Despite all these vicious attempts to muffle and disable you, you are relentlessly speaking strongly in service to Srila Prabhupada with more and more vigor and volume, courtesy of modern technology. Krishna presses down hard on his dearmost devotees, so that when his time is ripe, they bounce up with such a great transcendental flourish that they astonish everyone, even their detractors. I am a wretched, rejected person whose life is a catalogue of foolish mistakes and failures. Nevertheless, despite my continuing pattern of gaffe upon gaffe, you mercifully and tolerantly continue to engage me, and that alone gives me hope. Your fallen servant, Bhagavat Dasi.
Hare Krishna. Apura Prabhu, I mean, you don't have to. If you would like to say something, then I have to offer you the opportunity first. Yeah, he'll probably prefer chair. Apura Prabhu, over here. Take it away. Yes. That's okay. That's it.
Om Gana Timrandasya Gana Gana Salakaya Chakshuram Militam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. On this most auspicious day of your appearance, Bhakti Vikasa Swami, I feel so blessed and appreciated and to have had your divine association in so many different venues, so many different opportunities. Especially reading your books opens up my heart to the whole parampara as well as the pastimes. Every one of your books manifests the pastimes of the Lord in his very amazing forms, especially Lord Chaitanya, the one book you wrote about Lord Chaitanya. Everything became so much alive, and I started to see through my mind the activities and the innermost special messages that you import in each and every book. And my only lamentation is that I haven't read all of your books, but I feel so fortunate also that my wife Kamali distributes your books, and we get to regularly hear through the Sangha here at Krishna Life. And I especially think of Srila Prabhupada's, in many of his purports, he says that one must be engaged 24 hours a day. How it is that you constantly are absorbed in how to bring spirit souls back home, back to Godhead, and push on the message that Srila Prabhupada gave us, especially regarding book distribution. And not only book distribution, but also Prabhupada emphasized that you must learn these books just like a lawyer. And those points you are always making, that your disciples and associates must not only read the books, but completely know them inside out. And your commitment to Srila Prabhupada is unprecedented in our movement. I feel very protected and nourished and nurtured through the association of your disciples and your books and your commitment to Sadhu Sangha. That was most recently the Sadhu Sangha camp that we had here was the most enlivening experience I had in so many years, and it made me remember so much how Srila Prabhupada was dedicated towards emphasizing all these points that you very nicely brought out, and that you have continued with full vigor to take care of your disciples. And also you are such a manifestation of gentlemanly love for your God brothers, and you are always very kind and so considerate. Just like this morning, you were always in the Zoom call. You have a natural way of emanating love and also extracting love out of the devotees so that they can continue the process of the 6 loving exchanges, accepting prasadam and cooking, giving prasadam, of hearing 6 loving exchanges. Yeah. So those 6 loving exchanges are very important to developing our Krishna consciousness. And this was the reason that Srila Prabhupada opened all these temples. So I feel very fortunate to be here today, and my only lamentation is that we're unable to spend as much time. Maybe we're going to pray to Krishna and Srila Prabhupada, and that we can make more time to come and relish the association here and serve you in some capacity by enlivening the devotees. And myself, I love here to cook, and my wife Kamalini also is very enlivened to hear such, to be able to give her association to those devotees, especially the Madhajis, who are very eager to hear and are also very kind and considerate. So I really acknowledge you for your continued vigor to push on Srila Prabhupada's movement, his message, and your contribution of the Bhakti Vaibhava book, the whole set coming down from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta. The time, the energy, the labor you put in to get that book out was almost amazing. Many years you put, and it's just amazing. I think you have especially been sent by Bhakti Siddhanta to create and to manifest these wonderful pastimes and make them available to all of us. Thank you so much, and may Krishna bless you with a very long life and continue your wonderful distributing your mercy to all the devotees. And I pray to Krishna that you live very long and give us more of your association. Bhakti Vikasa Swami ki jai. Hari Bol. Namo Vishnu Krishna Krishna
Thank you. Prabhu, your bag. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swami Niti Namane. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. So, in a lecture given on December 26, 1966 in New York City, Srila Prabhupada says, Lord Chaitanya says, Ama Sabha Jivera Hoy Shastra Dwara Jnana. For real knowledge, we have to consult the scriptures, Shastra. Sadhu, Shastra, Guru. Sadhu means a pious, religious, honest person. One whose character is spotless is called a sadhu. Shastra means scripture, and Guru means spiritual master. These three are on an equal level. Why? Because the medium is scripture. The Guru is considered to be liberated because he follows the scripture. The sadhu is considered to be honest and saintly because he follows scripture. Nobody can become a sadhu if he does not accept the principles of scripture. Nobody can be accepted as a guru or spiritual master if he does not follow the principles of scripture. That is the test. Tad vijnanartham sagurum eva bhigachet samitpani shrotriyam brahmanishtham. To learn the transcendental subject matter, one must approach a spiritual master. In doing so, one should carry fuel to burn in sacrifice. The symptom of such a spiritual master is that he is expert in understanding the Vedic conclusion, and therefore he constantly engages in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mundaka Upanishad 1.2.12. Shrotriyam means one who has accepted the Vedic literature, the Shastra, as guidance, can be a guru. An extravagant upstart who makes some group and religious principles of his own cannot become a guru. Lord Chaitanya, in replying to Sanatana Goswami's enquiry about how to know who is an avatar, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that the medium is Shastra and the direction is from the Guru. we need the help of a guru to understand the scripture. Sometimes we find contradiction in the scripture. There is no contradiction, but because of my poor fund of knowledge, I think that there is. I cannot understand. Therefore, the assistance of a guru, a spiritual master, is required. So, nowadays in our movement, there's a lot of confusion among devotees, which they cite as contradictions in Srila Prabhupada's various instructions and statements. And Bhakti Vikas Maharaj is well known. He's famous for addressing these different contradictions, and almost being the only person who is in fact willing to address these contradictions and compare different statements of Srila Prabhupada and put them in the perspective that he emphasizes and that he establishes as the perspective of the parampara. And this is the principle that I personally have observed in Maharaj many times, is that he establishes what is the mood of the Guru Parampara, and based on that mood, he establishes the understanding of the different instructions of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, of Srila Prabhupada, and the previous acharyas. And this is extremely important, because one who is a guru needs to carry the same mood of the parampara. We are called Rupanugas because technically we are supposed to have the mood of Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. There are other moods in Lord Chaitanya's associates, but we come under Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, and under Rupa Goswami Prabhupada we fall under the Saraswata branch, which is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, I mean, you can read this in Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava, how Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur vehemently opposes and upsets a friend of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, so-called friend of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who had spent a lot of time with him in his house when Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati was younger. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur declared to him on his face that he had never seen Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he does not know Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And from this we can get a glimpse of what is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's mood. Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, it's almost like Krishna's arrangement. He wrote, it is Krishna's arrangement, it's not almost, it is Krishna's arrangement that he wrote Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava as a prelude to what he considers as his main book, his main service in his life, and the main presentation he's doing, which is the mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada. And today I've had the fortune of hearing that the end is in sight, which I think is a great milestone for our Guru Parampara, that the mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada will soon be revealed to us. And Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava, it is not a biography. It is actually the life and teachings of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, which is, yeah, you can say that book is actually the mood and mission of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, true to his name is Bhakti Vikasa, one who protects and nurtures the creeper of devotional service. That's the name. Vikasa means to protect and nurture. And you can protect, and the creeper of devotional service is protected and nurtured by the mood and mission of the Guru Parampara. And this is Guru. Guru is one who is able to resolve such contradictions. Srila Bhakti Vikas Maharaj does not present Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur of Bengal. He doesn't present the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur of the Gaudiya Math. He doesn't present the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur who is the brother of Bimal Prasad. He doesn't present the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur who is the son of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He presents Srila Prabhupada's Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Because Srila Prabhupada was accepted as a genuine disciple by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and only a genuine disciple can understand his spiritual master. And this whole book, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhava, presents Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and it's a feat because it was compiled after Srila Prabhupada's disappearance. Yet it is completely loyal to the way Srila Prabhupada worshipped his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. This, after going and hearing about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur from different disciples of his, who did have different perspectives on Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. They had different philosophical perspectives to our Srila Prabhupada. To be able to go and hear all of that and still be able to take their not just not be influenced by what they say. That in itself is not easy. Right? We have that experience in our movement. We understand Srila Prabhupada to be in a certain way. Then sometimes if somebody presents something else, then our mind becomes confused. Our mind becomes a little disturbed. But actually, for instance, our Srila Prabhupada, he was never unsure of what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted. He was never unsure of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's mood. He was completely convinced. And in apparent ways, in many external ways, Srila Prabhupada was different to the way he executed the movement of Krishna consciousness to his spiritual master. One simple example, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his morning program was after Mangal Arati, you just had bhajans. There are different bhajans for practically almost 2 hours until the greeting of the deities happened, and then they had Bhagavatam, they had kind of like a Bhagavatam discourse. So it wasn't a japa period in the way Srila Prabhupada instituted it. Srila Prabhupada instituted that. Srila Prabhupada, there's so many other details that Srila Prabhupada apparently differed from his spiritual master. But he was able to do so because without developing any contradiction with his spiritual master, because he was completely sure of the mood. He had completely imbibed the mood of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Therefore, he was able to understand what time, place, and circumstance meant. It remained a detail. It never changed the principle. And similarly, it's been my experience that Bhakti Vikasa Maharaj, he always surprises us in so many ways. For instance, this is one thing that really stuck in my head is Bhakti Vikasa Maharaj was saying that eventually maybe we should conduct a program for Indians here at the temple. And well, that was also, he also suggested it here, and then he said you could also do it there. So, and one of the objections I had raised, and he said you could do it in the evening on Sunday. And I was like, already this one Sunday program is quite it's quite hectic, quite busy, and our cooks are they're in there in the morning since from 6 o'clock in the morning, and how are they going to so that was I said, how are we going to cook? It's impossible. And he said, You just ask each of these Indians to cook something and bring it to the feast. And I was like, but we're preaching to them. They're not chanting 16 rounds and, they might be, not fixed up. And forget 16 rounds of worshipping demigods and this and that. And he's like, well, initially it's okay for preaching. You can start in this way. I was surprised because, it gave me a glimpse as to how little I understand him. How little I know him. Because, often the impression outside is that he's very rigid, he's very strict on rules, and that he doesn't compromise, and not compromise to the extent, the detractors almost claim that his attachment to rules and regulations are impractical for preaching. He is not that kind of a person. I've always found him to be just in line with Srila Prabhupada, and so many times I wonder, because Bhakti Vikasa Maharaj, he presents a lot of details about Vedic culture and about preaching and things like that. And one may think that, did Srila Prabhupada say these things? Did Srila Prabhupada do it? And there Maharaj has a quote. And it's because Srila Prabhupada, his manifest pastimes were 11 years after he started the International Society for Krishna Consciousness on this planet. And Srila Prabhupada has said everything. He said everything in his books. He stated everything in his instructions. And Bhakti Vikasa Maharaj is expert at mining those gems out of Srila Prabhupada's Vani, out of Srila Prabhupada's instructions, and revealing those. And it's just amazing, because otherwise you may never notice. But Srila Prabhupada has said everything. How Srila Prabhupada said everything in a span of 11 years, it is just amazing. But by bringing out those minds, Bhakti Vikasa Maharaj's entire life is simply a glorification of Srila Prabhupada. He's a perfect disciple of a perfect guru. So, and again, there's no end to his glories, but I will stop here to allow others to speak. So, thank you very much. His Holiness Bhakti Vikasa Maharaj ki jai. So next, coming. Should have called him a few minutes earlier. Oh, I see. Okay. So then after that, you'll speak, then Chandan Acharya Prabhu, and then after that, I'll start giving the mic to those who have composed offerings, if they get the chance to read, and then that way, and then we'll kind of alternate. Probably go on till about 12:45 maybe. Yeah.